Welcome to Impact Signals, Social Impact at the Scale of AI. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Sarah.
It's Saturday, July 18, 2026, episode 77. Today, AI can forecast the disaster, but this week's stories are about who actually acts on the warning. A satellite scientist's blunt argument about the world's loss and damage fund, 4 Venezuelan diaspora developers running the country's actual earthquake response, and Mozambique's first graduating class of AI-assisted drone pilots. We start with the energy mix, which just published an argument from Nakalembe, a researcher with more than 15 years building satellite models to predict drought and flood impact. The bottleneck in disaster response was never prediction accuracy.
What makes this significant is where she points the finger: money, not modeling. The UNFCCC, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, runs the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage, the main international mechanism meant to pay for exactly this kind of prearranged response. It has received less than 0.1% of the actual need.
Nakalembe's numbers are specific. In the U.S., every dollar spent on disaster mitigation saves $6 in recovery costs. In European coastal flood adaptation, it's the same 6-to-1 return. Global climate adaptation studies put the 10-year return above $10.50 for every dollar invested, roughly 27% a year.
The forecasting is the easy part. The hard part is a funded mandate to act on it: sea walls, grain banks, evacuation routes, and legal authority to move people before the disaster, not after. The warning alone saves no one, and FEMA mitigation programs are being cut just as the U.S. enters its May to October danger season of hurricanes, heat domes, and floods.
So Nakalembe's allocation rule is blunt. Roughly $10 spent on local infrastructure and capacity for every 1 cent spent on the AI or digital layer. Anticipatory action, releasing funds before a disaster hits, based on forecast triggers, and planned relocation are the two approaches she says prove it's possible.
For funders and non-governmental organizations, and practitioners building the next AI disaster resilience proposal, that's a concrete case. Put the money in local capacity, not another prediction model, and cite the loss and damage funding gap plus the 6-to-1 and 1050-to-1 return figures directly in the application. That's the governance line.
Second signal, Venezuela. Silicon Canals reports the response to last month's twin earthquakes in the north now runs on at least 4 separate diaspora-built AI tools, with the Venezuelan state's own response still minimal 3 weeks later.
What makes this significant is the build speed. Samuel Mariña, a Venezuelan developer in California, built Ayuda and Camino, a resource-matching tool pairing what people have against what people need, in 4 hours using Replit, with a WhatsApp fallback built in for the field. Marian Diaz-Hernandez, a digital security expert in Santiago, built a damage mapping tool called terremoto.com in about an hour using Claude Code and Kobo Toolbox.
The numbers are specific. The missing persons platform this show covered on July 15th logged more than 30,000 reports in 48 hours. A fourth platform, Somos Acompañamiento, combines missing persons search with hospital survivor tracking and has logged more than 84,000 registrations.
3 weeks in, these volunteer tools remain the primary source of crisis information for affected families. The lesson for practitioners: a technically fluent diaspora plus cheap, capable general-purpose AI can outpace a slow state response in 1 to 4 hours using Claude, Replit, or Kobo Toolbox. Build the WhatsApp fallback in from day one. That's the design principle worth copying.
Third signal, Mozambique. AFDB, the African Development Bank, announced this week that its first class of AI-assisted drone pilots has graduated 30 certified pilots, trained through a 15-month program funded by a $967,000 grant from COFEC, its Korea-Africa Economic Cooperation Trust Fund.
What makes this significant is the timing. When severe floods hit Mozambique in January and February, the newly trained teams were already running real aerial damage assessments and search and rescue support, months before this month's formal graduation ceremony.
South Korea's Busan Technopark, Hajung Solution, and Pusan National University led the technical implementation, equipping Mozambique's disaster authorities with 9 drones, geospatial mapping tools, and a digital disaster management system. ESRI reports the AI layer sifts the drone-collected imagery, measuring building damage and searching for flood victims from aerial footage.
That's a replicable template other African Development Bank member states or COFEC-adjacent donors can copy directly for their own drone deployment. A $967,000 grant, a 15-month training timeline, and the same named technical partner bench to build AI-assisted damage assessment capacity before the next flood season.
Fourth signal back to the United States. CHAI, the Coalition for Health AI, launched Pulse, the public health use case and learning scaling engine, this week, a national program opening up to 2,000 seats for state, tribal, local, and territorial public health practitioners.
What makes this significant is who's been left out until now. Those local agencies have lagged well behind federal ones in adopting generative AI, mostly for lack of in-house expertise. OpenAI and Anthropic have each donated 10 enterprise licenses, with up to 2,000 seats available in total.
CHAI's 17-member leadership council will select participants and route them into one of 5 defined use case tracks, where they'll work with Accenture's AI and public health specialists to run pilots and turn what they learn into public adoption playbooks.
For public health and social impact organizations without in-house AI expertise, this is a free, structured on-ramp. Enterprise-tier model access, a peer cohort, and a named technical partner, instead of building an AI deployment process from zero. Apply for one of the 2,000 seats before the cohorts fill.
On the disaster watch, USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey, confirmed a magnitude 7.3 earthquake 58 kilometers southwest of Puerto Madero, Mexico on July 17th, with a 6.0 aftershock 20 minutes later, no confirmed casualties yet. GDAX, the Global Disaster Alert and Coordination System, has Mayon Volcano in the Philippines at orange alert, with the Philippines Volcano Monitoring Agency reporting 327 rockfalls and a 6-kilometer evacuation radius. And the Horn of Africa drought across Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia remains at GDAX orange, active since July 3rd.
Puerto Madero and Mayon are exactly the test case for today's lead story. The earthquake and the volcano are both being tracked well, but tracking isn't the same as a funded evacuation route or a rebuilt seawall. That's the 6-to-1 return Nakalembe is arguing for, not an abstraction.
Funding watch? The CLUS Prize for Peace Tech 2026 is open for tech companies and peace or humanitarian organizations using emerging technology to save lives, reduce conflict, or safeguard human rights. $20,000, deadline July 31st. Japan's Climate Fund has a solar sharing or agrivoltaics grant program open for farmer and local government climate resilience partnerships. Up to 10 million yen per project, deadline August 19th.
The CLUS Prize deadline is the tight one, under 2 weeks from today, and it prioritizes young innovators and tech community members, so read that eligibility line before you apply. The Japan Climate Fund grant is the narrower fit. It's specifically for agrivoltaics and requires a partnership with a local government or private company, not a solo NGO application.
The through line today, AI keeps getting better at forecasting the flood, the fire, and the quake. The stories that matter this week are about who actually gets funded, staffed, and authorized to act on that warning.
From a diaspora coder with Replit to a certified drone pilot in Maputo, the pattern repeats. The model is the easy part, and the money, mandate, and training to act on it is the hard part. Fund that, not just the next forecast.
That's Impact Signals for Saturday, July 18, 2026. If this briefing is useful, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out at impactsignals.ai and share it with someone working in the field.
Stay ready.